I'd have to say, Survive the Night has changed a lot since its debut. And that's not even including its era, where it was referred to as Before the Dawn. There was a time where Survive the Night was simply about, well, surviving the night. And I mean, it still is, it's just gotten a bunch of new shit tacked onto it, like tasks, new shop items, cosmetics, ghosts, and sexy robots. But obviously the biggest change so far is surely the addition of a story mode. Now when the story mode was first conceptualized, or teased, or whatever, I, like Doctor Strange, saw 14 million possibilities in my mind about how this could totally go up in flames. The Auric team behind Survive the Night has had a fair amount of experience where a game of theirs went a little overboard with trying to be different, and ended up missing the mark as a result. That's actually kind of why they resorted to a toned-down premise that we see now. As I said in my previous video covering the game, Survive the Night is a simple game with a simple premise. Yet, it's profitable and easy to update. I mean, you don't exactly have to come up with a groundbreaking killer, ability, or survivor perk every time, and a good number of them are just reskins. It's honestly a pretty solid formula for your modern Roblox game, and it still leaves breathing room for the creators to have a little fun here and there. But a lot of the older, veteran players have been craving something more since day one. Most of them left angrily after the rebranding, but a good amount of them stayed back and quietly played the game every now and then. I mean, it's not just a game that everybody could dislike. It's just a game that somebody older could find themselves getting bored of really easily. So, of course, when the Auric team announced a hypothetical poll in their Discord for adding a scenario-type game mode, of course it got a good number of votes. Now, this poll was a long-ass time ago, and I didn't even expect them to really add it for a while, given the fact that in order for them to do something big like this, they were going to have to slowly groom everybody into getting on board with it. Like I said in my last video, Roblox games that have too much technical thinking required aren't going to be super popular, given the platform's main demographics. Actually, come to think of it, I seem to bring this point up in a lot of my videos. It must be something really important to emphasize nowadays. So, after getting word of the story update, I decided to hop on Survive the Night and check it out, and drag two of my good friends with me.
Chicken!
The story mode begins with a small introduction, which consists of a cutscene with Merch and that one robot lady in the basement, and finally some other guy who kinda just came out of nowhere. And I'm really glad there's some actual voice acting here and subtle animation to go along with it, but I really wish they put f***ing subtitles here. It was a little hard to follow along, especially given the fact that two of my friends wouldn't shut the f*** up about their girl problems the whole time.
Ah, she responded fast. God damn, I just hit send and she's like, okay,
I'm an old friend of Merch's.
Anyways, the cutscene seems to provide basic exposition for what the story mode will be all about, for the most part. Merch and the other random guy tell you about this black splooge material that's capable of destroying worlds or whatever, and it's also able to, like, imitate things. Apparently, Merch and the other guy's timelines were destroyed in the past, and that's why they're here now. Where did the Deep Night come from? Not sure, but I hope we find out. How does the Deep Night kill people, given that we're able to walk all over it without being harmed? Also not sure. Hope we find out. Anyways, the other guy, Kyle, tried to stop the Deep Night before, but it didn't work. But now they have Robot Mommy, and apparently she's enough to bring this new plan to fruition. You know, she's the important one here, not you, the protagonist. Alright, so apparently all of, or most of the maps or locations in the game are manifestations of the Deep Night, and these little amplifiers are somehow sustaining the Deep Night's presence. Even though some of the maps might be actual, real locations, it doesn't matter. There's still Deep Night somewhere. And when you stumble into it, it shows its true colors. Black splooge. Basically, your task is to shut off these amplifiers or whatever and get out of here before the night is over. Or before the dawn, I should say. Who built these amplifiers? I don't know. Probably one of them, honestly. So, in the first scenario, and the only scenario in the game as of now, is called Night 1. There's 7 nights to come in total. Think of it like 1 week at Before the Dawn. Also, nice callback to the past. In terms of actual content itself, the level is pretty nice, but it's linear. And I'm not trying to sound like a here. Making something like this non-linear is going to be a little bit much, per se. But I'm trying to say that a lot of the puzzles aren't really demanding in terms of mental labor. And I can understand why. Like I said before, kids need things dumbed down. And if you go overboard with too much complexity, your game won't be able to properly land with your audience. But what I will say is that the game wants you to do stuff, only when it wants you to do stuff, if you know what I mean. This can be pretty clearly seen when I saw the keys on the couch right off the bat, and the game wouldn't let me pick up the keys until I actually asked me to specifically. Same with the hammer. Like, I saw it on the couch and was like, maybe we should lock ourselves in here, given that there's a killer outside looking for us. And also, there's a time limit here working against us, so why don't I save us a second and barricade this shit now while my friend searches around for stuff, you know. But it didn't let me. But it's a kid's game. And I forgot to mention that the whole time mechanic is still a thing here. Can you imagine what would happen if you made a kid solve a puzzle while the f***ing timer is working against them? They'd have a f***ing aneurysm, and they'd be found on the floor next to their iPad with Survive the Night playing in the background. Those parents would be suing. So, yes, given the game's audience, I can look past sort of monotonous gameplay, and I actually kind of like how the game tells you when you're gonna die and when you're not. Because I can imagine how pissed off kids would be if they died and had to spectate the entire thing. Although, I do have to say, searching the entire cabin head to toe just to be affirmed by merch that there's nothing in here was a little degrading. After a while, you come across this pool table that turns out to be a little too sus. And yeah, it's hiding an entrance to the Deep Night amplifier. And then you have to solve this little puzzle, and then after that was probably the most scary part of the game, honestly. Like, the killer starts trying to break down the door, and you have just enough time to haul ass all the way up to the front door and barricade it. I actually felt a moment of, oh that caught me off guard. But luckily I saw the hammer when I walked in. And that's another thing about the story mode I already enjoy. The fact that it rewards you for having knowledge about the base game. It's not completely far removed from the game. Alright, so after that there's the final stretch. The Deep Night is causing the map or whatever to start dying, I guess, and after that whole amplifier shenanigan, and now you have the remaining time to escape. It's parkour, and it's a little challenging to say the least, because my friend f***ed up like 6 times. But I made it, so that counted as us all making it, and we got the rewards for it, so GG. So, what do I think of the story mode entirely? Well, I liked it, and I thought it was a fine addition. The plot seems a little bit more sci-fi than horror, but they've handled sci-fi horror pretty well in the past, so I think I have confidence in the Auric team this time around. I relish in the fact that Survive the Night is finally trying to do something unique, and honestly I might be thinking a little too far forward, but what if they're actually teaching a whole new group of younger Robloxians to have a taste for more complexity in their games? Just a thought. I think that the transition from normal, basic gameplay to a story mode isn't even that big of a jump, and who knows, maybe they'll make the levels gradually increase in craziness as time goes on. They do have 7 levels to work with after all. And the best way to summarize my opinion, in terms of horror story experiences on Roblox, there are definitely more unique to pick from. However, in the scope of Survive the Night's gaming community, it's very fitting. Alright, well thank you for watching my second Before the Dawn video. My name's Brady, and nice to meet you by the way, and I play and talk about Roblox games. My last Survive the Night video did pretty well, and I just realized right while writing the script, I made it a year ago. So hopefully the gap wasn't too big of an issue for you guys. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I expect to see more videos about Survive the Night in the future. For real this time. Please remember to like, subscribe, join my Discord, leave a comment. I love reading through them all. See you later. Bye.